I am muted. I am back. I don't know what. I don't know. It's weird. These OBS controls. Anyway, I'm back. um, as I was saying, Sharon, good evening. Kat Birch, good evening. Mawal, good evening. I'm doing great. And your pal Duke, thank you for being here. And thank you for the bits as well. So that's like two shows in a row when I started out muted. That's kind of weird. But anyway, um, so glad to see everybody in here. I really do appreciate it for a moment. Thought I went deaf for a second. Yeah, it was me. It was me. Actually, should I say it was me? It's probably my controls. But anyway, but it's so good to see everybody in here. Thank you very much for being in here. And tonight's show, let's say for the story part, we're going to go backwards, um, just for last month. And review some stories that I missed out at the end of March. The last week of March, I took a break, and when I start to edit and put the show together, it's like, I feel like the last stories I've done from this website is still on here, and I feel like I think the website, goodnewsnetwork.org, I think they're now uploading all their stories for the week on Wednesdays now. So that's why I feel like that they're doing. So with that, I'm gonna check tomorrow and see if that's true. But some day of the week they are putting in their stories for the week on the website. So with that being said, we're gonna go revert back to some stories that I missed out on the last week of March. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and it could be a short story section actually, because these stories are not taking long. I feel like they're more videos than stories, to be honest with you. So, but we're going to look at that. Also, we got a viewer submitted story as well, from Nancy in Wisconsin. She might be in here later today or not. We'll see. But she put up a great story, kind of like a video. So we're going to take a look at that short 3-minute video on that one. And prayers to Nancy as well. She had some surgery this past Monday, and she's recovering right now. So send her some love and prayers if she comes in the room tonight. And also, we will have positive videos. We're going to do a little back-to-back segment on positive videos tonight. We're going to do our our, inspirational monk Nick. If you haven't been in my shows before, uh, very wise words he does to break down different topics of scenarios. So we're going to do back to back on him, and we're also going to do back to back quotes this evening from two famous guys you might know. So that is the roundup of the stories tonight. Jamie Birch, hey, thank you, three. And by the way, if you didn't see the title, I am near 200 followers, so now I'm three away from 200. So let's see if we get three people, just three people to hit the follow button. Hopefully, they just watch the show and they enjoy it. Um, they hit the follow button, and we'll get to 200 followers tonight. And maybe I'll probably do something. I have to do something when we hit 200 followers. So it's a milestone. I will never thought that this show will do 200 followers. Think about that. So I thank you guys so much for the support, and it's so good to see you, Jamie. So good to see you in here. And I'm sorry if I'm missing any comments before I start the show here. And thought I would. Okay, we're caught up. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with our first story for this evening. And was already followed you, but somehow it unfollowed you. Oh, I've kind of noticed that. Like my numbers like go up and then it goes back down for some reason. So I don't know. Bots. Anyway, bots. All right. But I'm glad you followed again, Jamie. Thank you again so much for the follow. And again, we are three away from 200. So let's see what happens tonight. And let's see. But 200 followers is almost very, very close. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with our first story. If you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to do a little bit of a preview. Um, if you want to know what Nancy's story is for tonight, this is going to be a separate story though, but it has to do with turtles and tortoises. So this is separate from Nancy's, but I thought maybe we could start the story out with a little bit of a tortoise story here for tonight, and we're gonna do a larger window on that one. And tonight's first story: a 90-year-old tortoise becomes a father for the first time with partner of 29 years, and they are triplets. And this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network from March 24th of 2023. 90-year-old tortoise. So I don't know how that will be in human years, but anyway, he becomes a father of tortoise, triplet tortoise, with a partner of 29 years. So it's going to be a good story here. So, and also check out the goodnewsnetwork.org. Like I mentioned earlier, they're probably going to put on some new stories, um, probably tomorrow, and then we'll probably cover it next week on the show. So, but check them out. They got stories um, from this month, last year, years back. Plenty of good stories on their website, so make sure to check them out. All right, guys, so if you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started with story number one for this evening of 6 or 7, I think. I didn't keep count, but I know these were going to be some short stories. And by the way, got my Hurricanes mug. Go Canes. They won last night in the first game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So cheers to that. We're going to do our drinks tonight from this mug here. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with our first story of this evening. Here we go. Mr. Pickles, a 90-year-old radiated tortoise and the oldest animal at the Houston Zoo, became a father for his first time last week. Wow, thank you for the bits. Thank you for the 25 bits. Appreciate it, man. Much love. Mr. Pickles and his 53-year-old partner, Mrs. Pickles, welcomed 3 hatchlings that could live for up to 150 years if well taken care of. Native to southern Madagascar, radiated tortoises are critically endangered and rarely produce offspring, Houston Zoo officials say. Quote, the new hatchlings came as a surprise when a herpetology keeper happened upon Mrs. Pickles as the tortoise was laying her eggs at closing time, the Houston Zoo blog reported. The animal care team quickly went to work uncovering the eggs and getting them to the safety of the reptile and amphibian house. The soil in Houston isn't hospitable to the Madagascar native tortoises, and it's unlikely the eggs would have hatched on their own if the keeper hadn't been in the right place at the right time. They use my quote every single time. I think GoodNewsNetwork.org is watching. That's the second show in a row they used my quote. Well, I say the quote, but I think someone else made the quote. But anyway, so that's the picture of the tortoises right there. The 3 baby pickles right there. As we continue the story. Arriving in 1996, Mrs. Pickles has lived at the Houston Zoo alongside Mr. Pickles ever since. The kids have been named Dill. Oh, I like these names. Dill, Gherkin, and Jalapeno. How about that? That rings. Those are some nice names there. The new parents have been key to the Association of Zoos and Aquarium Species Survival Plan for this exquisite reptile that has unfortunately fallen afoul of the illegal animal trade. In 2018, 10,000 radiated tortoises were found in a private home in Tolera, Madagascar. Rescuers transported them to Le Village de Tortoise, Turtle Village, a private wildlife rehabilitation facility in Italy. I wonder if they meant Italy. But anyway, 18 miles north of Tolera. It could be Effety. Anyway, preventive measures for ensuring against the extinction of the reptile has been the establishment of breeding colonies on the Reunion Islands and Mauritius, where the conditions are similar to its home in Madagascar. That's incredible. 90-year-old tortoises. 90-year-old tortoises. Again, I don't know how much it's at in human years, but um, becomes a father for the first time, and they come out with triplets there and nice turtles there of dill, gherkin, and jalapenos. I like how they did that, and all in the pickle family to name. So that's incredible. So Awesome, awesome, awesome. And they've been mates for a long time, and this is their first babies. So it's incredible. It's also incredible to look at the pictures as well of them. So I thought maybe this will be a good start to a kind of a warm up to Nancy's story coming up after the end of stories here. So and we're going to talk more about tortoises later on. So here we go. So 90-year-old tortoise becomes a father for the first time with partner of 29 years, triplets, and it's from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for March 24th of 2023. As we move on to story number 2 for this evening, and hey, Cup of Joe, how you doing, man? So good to see you. He is partying. Always does his party with a rate of one person. That's awesome. So good to see you. Hopefully you're having a great Tuesday. And yes, Raid. Raid. He's doing that for a reason. He's doing that for a reason. So Joe, thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid. So appreciate it. All right, so we're going to move on to story number 2 for this evening. And a 17-year-old wins $150,000 in science talent search for a remarkable way to diagnose pediatric heart disease. And this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for, again, March 24th of 2023. And I feel like all these stories, well, not all of them are from March 24th. So I feel like somewhere around that cluster, there were a whole bunch of good stories during that segment there. But again, a 17-year-old wants a $150,000 in a talent search for diagnosing pediatric heart disease. So we're going to take a look at this incredible story here. And there you go, Joe. He needs his points. That's why he rated. He needed his points. All right. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and go on to story number 2 here. All right. My wall has a side note. This was a horrible night to forget my AirPods. I have Shivers by Ed Sheeran stuck in my head and it won't go away. That's the trouble. Dude, like last week I had like a couple songs stuck in my head, and the one thing I was like, I don't got my headphones. So I have to wait to come home, and then now I'm on my break. I'm like, okay, I can listen to my songs now. But I understand the pain, man. I understand the pain. Frank's not on. No, Frank is watching the playoffs, the hockey playoffs, right now. So he's watching the Maple Leafs right now. That's nice. He's watching the Maple Leafs. He's a Canadians fan. I think he just wants to see the Maple Leafs lose. And I did catch a little bit of the playoffs, and they were down 2-0 to Tampa Bay. In the game I'm watching, well, important to the Canes here, the Rangers are up 2-0 against the New Jersey Devils. So I kind of expect the Rangers might win that series. And I did pick Tampa, but I think that Tampa Toronto game might go to 7 games. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sad my team missed the playoffs again. Yeah, the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, they were that close. They had a good year, but they were that close. So how about that? We almost had all the New York teams in the playoffs. That's incredible. Not in hockey, but I think basketball. Yeah, Brooklyn and the Knicks are the only New York teams. So they're in. So almost all the New York teams almost got into the playoffs, major ones as well. But anyway, let's go back to the story. So the Sabres will have a chance next year. All right. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and go on to story number 2. Here we go. In the oldest and most prestigious young adult science competition in the nation, 17-year-old Ellen Yu used a kind of AI to design the first diagnosis test for a rare disease that struck her sister years ago. Let's see, go down here. With a personal story driving her on, she managed an 85% rate of positive diagnosis with only a smartphone image, winning her $150,000 grand for a third place finish. Kawasaki disease has no existing test method and relies on a physician's years of training, ability to do research, and a bit of luck. Symptoms tend to be fever-like and therefore generalize across many different conditions. Eventually, if undiagnosed, children can develop long-term heart complications, such as the kind that Ellen's sister was thankfully spared from due to quick diagnosis. Continuing on, Zhu decided to see if there were a way to design a diagnostic test using deep learning for her Regeneron Science Talent Search Medicine and Health project. Organized in 1942, every year 1,900 kids contribute adventures. She designed what is known as a convolutional neural network, which is a form of deep learning algorithm that mimics how our eyes work and program it to analyze smartphone images for potential Kawasaki disease. Well, that's amazing. So there's Ellen there on the far right of your picture there, and I think the other two on the left are the first and second place winners, probably, respectively. There. All right, let's continue on. However, like our own eyes, a convolutional neural network needs a massive amount of data to be able to effectively and quickly process image against references. For this reason, you turn to crowdsourcing images of Kawasaki disease and its look-alike conditions from medical databases around the world, hoping to gather enough to give the neural network a high success rate. U has demonstrated an 85% specificity in identifying between Kawasaki and non-Kawasaki symptoms in children with just a smartphone image, a demonstration that saw her test method take third place and a $150,000 reward at the Science Talent Search. That is incredible stuff with a smartphone. And we're going to look at the video of how she has done this as well. So, very incredible thing we're about to watch here to see how she's done it and what got her that grand third place of 150,000. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the video here. And before that, Mawal says, "Yeah, all of them exact the two teams I root for." Yeah. So again, they'll be back next year. They had a good season. They had a good season. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Go mute my mic and take a look at this video here.
Hi, I'm Ellen from San Diego, California, and in my project, I developed a deep learning-based early screening tool for Kawasaki disease. So when I was 5 years old, my younger sister fell ill with a mysterious illness. Initially, when we brought her to the hospital, we were told it was likely the flu. But as days passed, we saw her symptoms get worse and worse. She had a really high fever, a strawberry tongue, a rash all over her body, as well as swollen hands and feet. And so my younger sister actually had no ordinary flu. She had Kawasaki disease, which is the #1 cause of acquired heart disease in children. And if you're like me and my family, you've probably never heard of Kawasaki disease before. And part of the reason for that is because it's such a huge medical mystery. We still don't know the exact cause of Kawasaki disease. To this day, Kawasaki disease still lacks a specific diagnostic test. So instead, it relies on a doctor's clinical diagnosis of the visual features or visual clinical presentation of Kawasaki disease and differentiating it from its lookalike diseases. The challenge with these so-called lookalike diseases is that they share a lot of very similar clinical features to Kawasaki disease, which makes it very easily confused and thus commonly misdiagnosed. This is a huge problem because Kawasaki disease, while treatable if diagnosed and treated on time, it can lead to serious long-term heart complications, such as 25% of patients, when left untreated, develop coronary artery aneurysms. I'm really thankful that my younger sister was treated on time, but if only a few more days had passed, she could have developed these longer-term heart and health concerns. And thousands of other patients who have Kawasaki disease face this issue. And so that got me thinking, what if we could help aid in the diagnosis of Kawasaki disease through differentiating it from its lookalike diseases? And given that Kawasaki disease is diagnosed through clinical presentation or the guidelines established by the American Heart Association for its clinical features, what if we could use these features that can be easily captured in a photograph to train a deep learning image classification algorithm? And that's essentially what I investigated through my project. So specifically, I used a type of deep learning algorithm called the convolutional neural network, which is a type of deep learning that essentially tries to mimic the biological visual system and how we make sense of this entire visual world around us. Now, as you might imagine, our visual systems have evolved over millions of years. And for the same reason, convolutional neural networks are traditionally very data hungry. They need a lot of data to be able to train and reliably determine and capture these sorts of features from images. This can be really hard in a medical setting, and its applications have been limited because of this lack of data and the difficulty of gathering such data. And so I overcame these challenges through using crowdsourcing to gather data from patients worldwide, as well as using a combination of different techniques to try and teach these convolutional neural networks to better learn off of limited data. Just like a child or a human may be able to look at just a few images and recognize objects. So for example, we might imagine that by changing the feedback we give to a child when they see certain images, we can help it better classify and recognize these objects and images, say for a cat or a dog. And I use these exact same insights in order to better train an algorithm to improve its sensitivity for Kawasaki disease. And so with a combination of these techniques, my algorithm was able to achieve a high sensitivity and specificity to distinguish between the clinical features of Kawasaki disease versus its extreme look-alike diseases, using simply smartphone photographs and only a few hundred images per class. And so this algorithm can be really useful in aiding in Kawasaki disease early screening as an early screening tool, as well as in low resource settings where a medical provider or a pediatrician may not be readily available. I'm really thankful to be working with the same doctors who also treated my younger sister at the Rady Children's Hospital and the UCSD Kawasaki Disease Research Center in working towards implementing my algorithm as a patient web app. And this can help improve the early detection and screening of Kawasaki disease so that patients are treated earlier on and can avoid the coronary artery risks that may ensue when treatment is not given on time. And so I'm really excited for the potential of this algorithm, and I hope it demonstrates the feasibility for the use of photographs and deep learning to help prevent medical misdiagnosis. Thank you.
Wow. All right. So there was Ellen Yu there describing her scientific um, project there that won her third place for $150,000 um, to help diagnose um, the heart disease that she mentioned there. And again, you know, just using a smartphone and some images to detect, you know, um, the heart disease that her sister has and to get it in an early diagnosis. So that's very incredible for what she did there and to differentiate from other diseases. And hopefully, if it's not that, you know, what other diseases it could be. It could help some patients out and be like, hey, it's not this that you're thinking of, but it could be that. So, um, something that is very, very, very creative and amazing stuff with this 17-year-old Ellen Yu has done to differentiate from the rare heart disease her sister got from other diseases as well. So incredible stuff. She deserves the prize because I would have never thought of of using smartphones and photos and trying to differentiate what different diseases it is and try to pinpoint the exact one. So very incredible, and also the help from her doctors as well. So, 17-year-old wins 150,000 in Science Talent Search for a remarkable way to diagnose pediatric heart disease. And this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for March 24th of 2023. As we move on to story number 3 for this evening, I thought maybe I'll do a little recognition for my state, and it's rarely that they will put something up there small North Carolina here. Um, but something to like a little bit of an eye opener. So a North Carolina church raises thousands to pay off cafeteria lunch debt for every county school. And this is from the Good News Network from March 25th of 2023. Before we get to the story, let's see if I'm not missing any comments. Everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. Joe's giving away points. Thank you, Cup of Joe, for giving away some points there. The only Kowalski I know is the motorcycle. Yeah, that's the only one, right? So, Kowalski disease, yes, differentiated, from all the other diseases. But that's what she did there was a very, very good and innovative um, thing she did, and it's such an easy. I wouldn't say easy because I wouldn't got it, but probably in your mind that's kind of like a little bit of an easy thing, And with the doctor's help, be like, hey, here's Kowalski, here's all these other diseases, and again, just to pinpoint it and get it um, an early detection for her sister. That's kind of incredible. So not only she won a prize for that, but also saving her sister's life as well. So that's a good closer, I could say, for that story there. Um, so with that being said, and Joe's giving away points. Let's continue on to the next story. Again, a North Carolina church raises thousands to pay off cafeteria lunch debt for every county school. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with story number. I think this is three. Let me make sure. Yep, story number three. I think I did 7 of positive stories. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with our next story. A North Carolina pastor has been helping children in need throughout his county, whether they need clothes, housing, or even a family, with programs like his church's foster and adoption ministry. A few years ago, his city church in Gastonia started Hope Closet, a clothing giveaway for kids who may be displaced or kids in schools who need new shoes. A few weeks ago, he ran across a news article about the growing number of kids whose school lunch accounts remain unpaid. School lunch debt is a problem for districts across North Carolina, including Gaston County, where Pastor Dickie Spargo learned that families owe a total of $13,000. Quote, we decided that we were going to share it with our church and then just take up an offering and see what would happen, Spargo told local media. In less than 2 weeks, the congregation raised $23,000. What a great opportunity to bless these kids, the pastor told his congregation after delivering the check. He learned that the schools are doing their best to reach parents, urging them to apply for the free or reduced lunch program, which the government uses to reimburse costs of meals that would otherwise be charged to the school. The $23,000 donation from the large Christian church will eliminate school lunch debt for the year, and the rest will help pay off debt for next school year. Quote, praise God, exclaimed Pastor Spargo. So, incredible. A nice little short story, but incredible what the church has done, just to help out their community, but also helping out other counties in need, um, with the parents to help them pay off their school debts, school cafeteria lunch debts, and because I don't know how much school lunches are now. I think when I left, it was like probably like $1.75 maybe. So I don't know how much it is now um, for a school lunch now, but $13,000 in debt, that's a lot to pay, and for the church to raise money for that and um, help out pay off the debts and some extra money to pay out for next school year. Very, very incredible. So kudos to Pastor Spargo there in Gastonia. So North Carolina Church raises thousands to pay off cafeteria lunch debt for every county school. And this is from the Good News Network for March 25th of 2023. As we move right along to story number 4, and talk about marriage proposals. one of the rare things that I get to do on this show. Um, Good old marriage proposals. So, a rugby player feigns injury during match to surprise girlfriend with marriage proposal. And this is from the Good News Network from March 26th of 2023. So, if you guys are ready, we're going to move along to our next story right now here. Frank's in here. Look at. And Frank has given Sharon a proposal right now. And Sharon says, I'm already married. Sharon has declined you, Frank. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, Frank. Maybe the next person. It's so good to see Frank in here. He was like, no, I'm not going to watch the playoffs. And then the Leafs are sucking right now. They're stinking right now. Give us a score update, Frank. Leafs think, oh my God, they're so bad. He's probably going to post the scores up in a minute. So there we go. 3-0 Tampa. Please give me the score of the Rangers game as well, because that's kind of a little bit important to me as well. So 3-0 Tampa. 3-0 New York Rangers as expected. So these first two games are not very thrilling right now as compared to last night. But it's still. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Keep us updated, Frank, please. Cup of Joe. Okay, give her. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the next story. All right, here we go. Again, a rugby player during a match proposes for a girlfriend. So here we go. A rugby player shocked his girlfriend by feigning a leg injury during a match, only to get down on one knee and propose. Robinson choreographed a rugby tackle with his whole team in on the elaborate plan that would catch his partner by surprise. Oops. Okay, I got it. Called over to the pitch, Amanda Tuckwell, newly trained in first aid, believed that it must be serious, but when she arrived, the 30-year-old rolled over onto one knee and pulled out an engagement ring. 43-year-old Amanda thought he'd broken his leg, but recalled, when he got up, I thought he must have been in shock, but then he got on one knee. I was very, very surprised. The couple from Halifax, West Yorkshire, had been together for 5 years when Chris started planning the proposal 2 months ago, waiting for a home game to make it special. He was playing for amateur side Greatland All-Rounders on March 18th at their Yorkshire League match against Kirkburton, I think it's Cougars, but they spell it differently, in England, and thought the surprise would also tickle the opposition. Quote, Amanda knew something was coming, and I wanted to do it in a way she wouldn't expect. Chris, a primary school teacher from Halifax, explained, if I booked a trip somewhere, she would have guessed what it was going on. I was a bit nervous. I was worried about what the other team would say, but we were winning comfortably, so it wasn't a close game. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. Amanda agreed, adding, I usually know what Chris is going to do before he does, so it had to be something different. I was shocked. The happy couple who met on the dating app Bumble are planning a low-key registrar wedding followed by a big party with friends and family to help them save their pennies to buy their first house together. The video filmed on the referee's GoPro headcam has since gone viral on Rugby Mad Dad's Facebook page. So this must be the video here down the bottom, and nice play on his part, right? That is good. See, because sometimes if you knew something's going to happen in marriage, you kind of sense it. So that was good on his part, kind of make it a very good surprise. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video here that I'm about to play. So here we go. Gotta mute my mic here.
Oh, that's awesome. Help! Move! Right. So. Right, Shag. What's up? Down. Alright, twist it. Come on, Coach Claire. Come on, you know how to play a game, don't you? Come on, mate, you've already won. Fucking hell. It'll be time, boys, now.
Sorry, sir?
It'll be time.
Okay.
It'll be time.
What, one goal?
But just hang on, just hang on.
I'm going to go for a drop goal here.
See, you are a soft cunt.
I know. I've made more tackles in this game than I have all last season. That's true, isn't it, Danny? Let's see. Wait a minute.
Come on, if you want to go home.
Be after this.
Stop making it about yourself.
Get some camera.
Yes, you alright? Where are you going?
Well, it took well.
Yes, boys! Sorry, lads.
Can't look for time wasting this.
Cheers. Cheers, man. Cheers, Cheers, pal. Cheers.
Okay, that was kind of weird that they did a ad midway through the story. Anyway, so there was the marriage proposal there, and Joe did a stretch. So I'm going to do the stretch in a minute on the next story here. So, and Sharon says muddy, so kind of this thing all planned out. That was kind of well, it was, muddy field. So you thought, oh, maybe he slipped and fell or something and broke his ankle or something, and um, then the fiance gets concerned, and next thing you know, there comes a marriage proposal. So I think the weather was right, or the field conditions was right for that. So everything went perfect for that surprise. Actually, that's something well planned, and you can actually pull out for a surprise there. So incredible stuff. Congrats to them. Great marriage proposal on his part as well. So good stuff there. So rugby player feigns injury during match to surprise girlfriend with marriage proposal. And this is from the Good News Network from March 26th of 2023. As we move on to our next story here, and um, kind of a funny story maybe, or like just looking at the calf here. A newborn calf with smiley face markings is named Happy and will graze on a farm for the rest of his life. And this is for Andy Corbett of the Good News Network for March 27th, 2023. Would never suspect that from a cow, or a calf. Sorry, calf. But that's remarkable. A smiley face on the calf there. So we're going to take a look at that. First of all, let's go ahead and do the stretch. Cup of Joe redeemed a stretch. Thank him so much for the stretch. I'm going to go ahead and stretch here. This is always me to get up and stretch and move around and all that stuff. So really do appreciate that, Joe. Stood up and stretched there. All right, so, but yeah, I say I had to read this story because that's one of a rare moments that you get to see this. So again, a newborn calf with a smiley face markings is named Happy and will graze on a farm for the rest of his life. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with our next story. for this evening. So here we go. Um, Happy DeCal was never destined for greatness, born as he was a bull on a dairy farm. Yet, despite his inability to produce milk, Happy had another valuable skill that began working the minute he dropped into the grass of Barry Coaster's dairy, making people smile. Um, the Holstein calf was born with a smiley face on one side of his body, a result of the naturally random black and white markings typical of their breed. Quote, we see some number sevens or love hearts on the head and a few strange markings, but we never seen anything that resembles a smiley face before, Mrs. Megan Coaster told ABC Australia. Upon finding Happy, Brian snapped a picture and sent it to Megan, who even suspected he was a victim of graffiti. Quote, I couldn't believe it. I actually zoomed in at first to make sure that none of our workers had added some extra lines or anything, she added. Um, Happy is what is known in the Australian dairy industry as a bobby calf, meaning one that is surplus to requirements for replacing the existing stock. Rather than joining the mating bull herd, Happy's unique markings have landed him a role on the farm in perpetuity. Mr. Coaster said many of his workers were keen to have him around as a kind of mascot. He makes people smile, and he's one heck of a natural lawnmower. So, again, there's Happy right there with the smiley face right there. And I mean, come on, if you're a worker on that, have a bad day, you see a calf with a smile, you will smile too. So, kind of a good mascot, kind of a great mascot to have there with the smiley face, and probably one of the best calves they have on that farm there. So, but that's very incredible to see that. That's one rare thing to see on a calf. You'd think the spots would be different, but then you see what's like a smiley face, or they said one with a heart and something else. So, kind of a rarity, but also something good to see as well. So, very incredible there. So, newborn calf with smiley face markings is named Happy and will graze on a farm for the rest of his life. And this is for Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for March 27th of 2023. All right, our next couple stories are just short stories with a video on it. So, and I thought maybe kind of this little section will kind of make you laugh and smile a little bit here. So next we're going to a party here. An older gentleman steals dance floor with flawless Michael Jackson moves. Age is just a number. And this is for the Good News Network for March 25th of 2023. So we're about to see some dancing here in a minute from someone. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started. A wedding reception is a great occasion for people young and old to mingle. And things always get interesting when they start dancing. One singer was ready to show who's the boss of the dance floor as soon as the DJ started playing Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. The balding eyeglass-wearing gent is named John Lawless Jr., and he stole the show with his spot-on moves, including floor drops that floored everyone who gathered round at the Long Island reception. Quote, oh my goodness gracious, I can't believe a story has been done on me, he explained after the GNN video began going viral on Newsbreak, totally blown away. It makes me want to dance all over again, said John, who works for the U.S. Postal Service. So watch his awesome moves in the video below, a 1-minute confirmation that you can't judge a book by its cover. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of John's dance moves here. Update from the hockey playoffs before we play. Frank said the Leafs have scored, and it is Tampa 3, Toronto Maple Leafs 1. Thank you for the update, Frank. And this is to the Toronto Maple Leafs fans who just scored. A little bit of some dance moves. How about this? Let's go ahead and get started and see this.
He didn't come to play, he came to dance. Come on, make some noise for him.
Well, age is just a number, right? He like literally broke dance on the floor and everything. That's kind of amazing. So, also having a good time as well. um, okay, just since I've seen this video on TikTok, I figured because it had a title on there, and well, I figured it had to be on a TikTok, and I bet it probably has garnered a lot of views. I mean, it got viral, so. But that's incredible dance moves he got there. He still got it. Did they say his age, by the way? I don't think they did, but um, no, they didn't. But um, incredible stuff. Still got the moves. 2023 breaking down. Having a good time. So that's a good video there. So older gentleman still dance floor with flawless Michael Jackson moves. Age is just a number, and this is from the Good News Network for March 25th of 2023. He still has it. He still got the moves. All right. Um, this will be our final story for this evening, and next up will be Nancy's story coming up next here. So I thank her. Well, we'll thank her when I start the story up. But let's get to this last one here. Big save by Leafs goalie. Oh, update by Frank. No, no. This is not the last. This is the last of positive stories, Frank. You're good still. Twin babies hilariously imitate their older brother, proving twins are 2 times the fun. And this is from the Good News Network for April 8th of 2023. This one will be very short. So let's go ahead and get started. Rumble.com user Agata Bernard posted a video that made our hearts melt from its cuteness. The mother in Argentina captured the moment when her twins responded to their big brother's effort to make the babies laugh. Evidently, he's their role model because the 2 babies immediately mirrored his silly antics. The back and forth fun is guaranteed to delight everyone watching the clip. You can follow Agatha Bernard in her family's cuteness overload on Instagram. So here's the video. It's very short. So yeah, let's see it.
Yes. ¡Ahora, miércoles! ¡Qué velocidad!
So, and I'll replay it again because I got in the full screen. You probably missed what happened there. So let's see it again.
¡Ahora, miércoles! ¡Qué velocidad!
I thought that was a good way to close up positive stories there. He's shaking his head, and Twins was like, and simultaneously did like. So, how about that? Great minds think alike, right? Gonna be some very, very smart twins there I see coming up when they grow up. So, twin babies hilariously imitate their older brother, proving twins are 2 times the fun. And this is from the Good News Network for April 8th of 2023. So, thought I had to close it out with a couple of 2 or 3 good stories there that will make you smile there. All right. So next up, we are going to go to Nancy's submission. Let's see if it'll pop up here for a minute, because this is the first. Okay, it worked. All right. So hopefully it will come up. This is from Facebook. So I thank Nancy so much, Nancy in Wisconsin, um, for submitting this nice video here. And if you got any submissions of your own, visit my Twitter, Ray Sims 0907. You can drop me a message here on Discord, on my Discord. Yeah, I think Twitter or Discord. I rarely say Discord, but we'll do that. And I'll plug up my socials while the video play, in case anybody has any videos or anything that will fit in the show there. And it's rare that I have not said that in a while either. So, but Nancy always comes up with some good stories and videos that she sees online that she would love to share on the show here. So I appreciate her so much. So what we're about to see here, this lady here has a 175-pound tortoise. She has had this tortoise since she was a kid. So this tortoise has been around for nearly her whole life. And again, we did a story beginning talk about a 90-year-old tortoise gave birth to triplets. Now we're talking about a tortoise here who's kind of like been through her life since she was small and to a grown up, and still is today. So let's go ahead and get started with thank you, Cup of Joe, for putting up the Discord. Let's go ahead and get started and look at the video here. 3 minutes long, but it's a great story. It kind of is a little bit tearful, but something to see. So let's go ahead and take a look at the story, and we'll see if I can full screen it as well. All right.
He does want attention. He'll shove his body at you.
I love you.
When I was 7, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a tortoise top of my...
I'll pause it because Joe said commercials. So I don't know. I kind of don't want him to miss it. So if anyone's with commercials, let you watch it, please let me know when the commercials stop. Hold on, let me put. Oh, he's back. All right. I paused it for you, Joe, when she said commercials. All right. So let's go ahead and start it again. Again, a 175-pound tortoise and her friend, pretty much. All right.
He's 175 pounds. He does want attention. He'll shove his body at you.
I love you.
When I was 7, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a tortoise top of my Christmas list. This morning, I opened him up, and it was a teeny tiny baby. Growing up with Tiptoe, I wanted him to be a part of everything.
Tiptoe, how you doing, guy?
So we started doing things like taking him on a walk around the block.
He's heading for the street again.
And he's feeling good today.
When my parents went to get Tiptoe, we did not know that he would live to be 80 to 120 years old. They're actually one of the top animals that are given away, or in a lot of cases, just not providing the proper care for them. Tiptoe is absolutely the king in our house. We've had to completely revamp our backyard so it would fit his needs. We love to include all sorts of yummy food and flowers in his pool so he can really get the royal treatment in his spa. So we do spoil him. It makes caring for him so much fun. On a walk. He's moving, he's grooving, he takes up the entire sidewalk.
Nice face.
Tiptoe meets all his friends.
He'll actually wait by the gate until we come out to open it. He knows what that gate means. He He knows that I can go on a walk and party.
Hey, Tiptoe.
I have a lot of elderly neighbors that hang out around our house waiting for Tiptoe to come out. It's so special to see how much other people love Tiptoe.
This is crazy. We don't see these every day, huh?
Been able to build a strong community around him. Tiptoe is a very set in his way kind of guy. Tiptoe has had quite a few days where he gets a little bit too stubborn to walk back.
Okay. I got it.
To call in my dad to drive the truck over, so we can Tiptoe in and take him home. He'll push his body up against the side of the house. He actually rubbed off an entire layer of stucco.
Yeah, help him down.
From trying to break into the home. He's quite the bulldozer. Tiptoe is 19, which is crazy because he's still a baby. But knowing that I've had Tiptoe this entire time through every stage of my life, the ups, the downs, it really makes spending time with him special. At the end of the day, I can go back to Tiptoe. He's my home base. I love him so much.
Tiptoe and Caitlin with the video there. So again, thank you to Nancy for bringing this story up to me and get to feature it on the show here. So really do appreciate her so much for the recommendation there. That is a nice story. You know, having a pet from a kid all the way now to your adulthood and still going strong. So very good story there from Caitlin there, and best friends. I will say that at most. And you would think, like the cop did, is like, hey, I had to do a double take. Is that really a tortoise that you're walking? So very incredible stuff there. So thank you again, Nancy. She'll probably see the replay, but really do appreciate.
It's time for me to get set up for therapy, and I
I'm
use
gonna have
this
it
room as
added
my
and muted. So.
office. But the desk is over here.
Come on.
And so when I'm seated at the desk, this is the background.
All right. So now we're into our positive videos segment. I think with the tortoise, we could say we're into the positive videos segment. And we're going to do a little bit of back-to-backs this evening. So our first set of back-to-backs is our inspirational monk, Nick. If you remember him, I've done past videos on him. And he basically breaks down a situation and makes it more simple, or what we need to do, and you know, he simplifies it pretty much. So our first one will be stress and chaos in our lives and what we should do. And I think the other video will be bad habits. That will be the second one from him. So a double dose of inspirational monk Nick, and then we're going to have a double dose of quotes as well for our positive videos. So with that being said, if you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. Before that, update by Frank before we get this video started. Tampa 3-2 Toronto. The series has picked up. So Toronto is coming back after being down 3-0, and up 4-2 Tampa. Update: it is 4-2 Tampa. So Toronto has fallen asleep again. That's going to be a good series, though. I say that series is going to go to best of 7. So, and what's the update with the Rangers before I get started, Frank? But that's going to go ahead and that's going to be a good series. That's going to go 7 games. I bet you. 7 games. So, but we're going to go ahead and get started and play the video here. So, again, inspirational monk Nick is going to talk about his solution to stress and chaos. So, here we go. Oh, I'll go ahead and mute myself right quick.
Good evening, everyone from Azusa, California. Today, I wanted to talk about the topic of stress and chaos. Many people right now are experiencing that because we're struggling or juggling so many different things. We have our work, we have our relationships, we have our goals and our passions and the external factors that are involved as well. So it can be stressful. In this kind of environment, what is the solution? And there are many solutions, but today I wanted to focus on one specific thing. And if you are in this space, you're wanting to improve it, the answer is structure and routine. You need this. And two things that I wanted to share as an example that may be helpful for you that comes to the top of my mind. One is in the monastery. For us, when we do our ordination program, we have men coming from around the world to train themselves. The first thing you'll notice when people come, because they're coming from different countries, they have different habits. Some people are quite strict and disciplined, and others complete opposite. So no bedtime, no schedule. They eat when they want to. They sleep when they want to. Freedom. No discipline whatsoever, but it's okay. But they're coming here to train themselves. The first thing that we need to do, because we're teaching them a lot of meditation, the monk life, the ordination procedures, the wisdom, the rules, a lot of things happening. But before we can get to that, we have to make sure they have a schedule that they can follow. And the schedule is quite strict, and it's strict on purpose. The schedule for the new monks when they come to Thailand is in the morning, they wake up around 4:20. They get an opportunity to get themselves ready. Then they have morning chanting and also meditation, bright and early at 5 in the morning. So many of them are not used to it, but this is the first thing that they will experience. After that, typically, is they'll go on an alms offering. They'll get to walk through the village and see the locals to experience the custom and tradition that has been passed on since 2,500 years ago. And it's quite an amazing experience. Once they're done with that, they come back. The new monks, they have breakfast. After breakfast, they will do some chores, doing the laundry and whatever that the monastery requires. After the chores, then they would have another lecture, a Dhamma talk with more meditation. After that, they will go to lunch. And after lunch, they have some free time a little bit. And then preceding that is another teaching around 2:30 p.m., along with another session of meditation. In the evening, they have time to shower. And then lastly, around 6:30, they're back again to chanting, listening to the teachings from the teaching monks, and then it's meditation time. After that, immediately is 10 p.m., lights out. And the next day, we repeat it all over again. So from 4:20 in the morning all the way to 10 p.m. So the schedule is quite strict. When the men come here, it's challenging, even for myself, if I had to be honest, because back when I was a layperson, I made my own schedule. Any time I wanted to sleep, anywhere I wanted to go, I was a free man. No one set my schedule for me. So coming into something that was so strict was quite challenging. But slowly, then you start to adapt. And it's so interesting because the people that come to ordain, they really want to change themselves. They want to change their habits. They want to learn. They want to experience the spiritual part of themselves. And that sounds great. But for us is we need to get the basic foundation first. In order for us to do that, we got to get you stable. And the stability comes from having a structure and having a routine. And the individuals will have a battle. It can be challenging. It will test them. But slowly, if they are patient, and we can see very clearly, step by step, they start to not fight the system as much. They start to surrender to the structure. And when the foundation is set, then right there. Now they just go through the routine. They don't have to think about anything. They just open themselves up. And now you're just ready to learn. Whatever the teaching monks are trying to tell you, whatever comes up in the moment, just do it. Just do it. Just experience it. And if you can do this, then you'll start to experience more peace. The routine will start to ground the new monks. Slowly, they settle into the daily life. And then now, because you don't have to worry about when you're going to wake up. You don't have to worry of when you're going to eat, when you're going to dress. Take all of that stuff out. What's the next thing? And the next thing, when the external world is safe or the external world is predictable, now I can go inside and I can start to do the real work. Then you can see how they will progress in their meditation. They're more calm, they're more peaceful. From that, they have time to reflect and contemplate. So the structure is quite important. The second example of structure and routine that I wanted to share was in my lay life. For me, I was working as a licensed marriage and family therapist, and this is back at the group home for foster kids aged 12 to 18. We had at that time, almost 80 to 100 students. And the kids live there. The kids will go to school there. And it was quite challenging. They are dealing with issues with family, issues with just being teenagers and mental health issues. So it's expected and it's predictable. However, we had 20 different therapists there. We had 20 different houses, so you can start to see some houses were a bit more chaotic. Some houses were a bit more disciplined. And when we go to these meetings and we're updating to see how the clients are doing, what we find is that when a house is experiencing behavioral issues, the first thing we need to look at is what is the schedule? Is there even structure? And if there is structure that we did implement for you, are you following it? And we can see the pattern that the kids who, when they come home from school, they did not know what time they should wake up, or they do know what time they should wake up, but no one's enforcing it. They don't keep it. They'll go to school late. When they come home, I can come home whenever I want to. No one's checking in on me. I can do homework whenever I want to. I can eat wherever I want to, wherever I want to in my room. And when we see this, then it can correlate to some of the behavior issues or the discipline for themselves. So the first thing we need to do is identify this. And we have to help our staff. We have to help our team, and the therapist and the staff will work together to see, okay, now let's tighten this up. Let's establish a bedtime routine. Let's establish when you're going to wake up and leave the house when you're going to go to school. When you come back from school, when are you going to sit down and do homework? Where are you going to do homework? What time is cut off? And then what time do we turn off the lights? And when we do this, it's such a big difference. And the kids will fight you tooth and nail. If you have teenagers out there, is this not the case? Right? And that's expected, and it's okay. But from the teenager's point of view, they do not want this. They do not want structure. They do not want discipline, or the words that are coming out of their mouth. It's saying this. But what we find in the mental health world is that children actually need and want routine, and they want structure. Why? When they have structure, what we find is that the kids actually feel that the caregiver care for them, that the parents love them, that the people who are taking care of them value them. And this feels safe. The safety part of it, the predictability part of it, makes the kids, again, more calm, more safe, and they know what to expect. Imagine coming home and your environment is unstable. Then, okay, what's happening today? And you don't know. And for many young people, there's already a lot of issues going on. And when you don't know what to expect when you come home, already it dysregulates you. So having the structure implemented is a way that we can help to support these young people. So we can see the correlation that when the kids have structure and routine, their mental health starts to improve, their grades, their behaviors, their interactions will start to stabilize. So this is a good thing. Then now we have to ask, why am I sharing this and how does this relate to you? So coming back to your life is like in the beginning, you're juggling a lot of things. Imagine with the work, the school, relationships, and the million other things that you're dealing with. Now you also do not have a routine and a structure. You don't even know when you're going to eat for lunch because your work or your school is so busy. That can add even more stress. So if you are in this situation, no judgment. Been there before, no big deal, and it happens. And the suggestion or the advice is really now look at your life. If you are in this space and if you have a routine, keep going. Then start to tighten other areas. If you do not have a routine at all, create one. Where do you start? And where you start is, let's come back to basic needs. If you have nothing at all, let's start with sleep. Have a sleep time. This will address so many issues because a lot of issues are falling behind this topic. But pick a time based off your lifestyle that is sustainable. An example is 10 p.m. In the beginning, it's going to be difficult. But what I find is that your body will fight it. And that's okay. You'll throw in logic, more fighting. Again, that's okay. But try to keep this. And then you know what? You'll start to change your behaviors to match this. If 10 o'clock is a hard, firm line, that a habit that I'm trying to establish, and I can't shift this, I'll shift everything else. Okay, now because I know I have a bedtime, I'm not going to stay out so late. Now that I know I have a bedtime, I'm not going to drink coffee at 8 p.m. because I have to sleep on time. And you'll start to adapt your actions. You'll start to adapt your lifestyle to support this. Another thing that you can do, a basic need to focus on to create more structure and discipline for yourself, is then with eating. It sounds not a big deal, but it is a big deal because many people don't even have a schedule because, okay, I'm just going to work and I will eat when there is an opening. And yes, from time to time it does happen, but if you can, try to establish this. Have a set routine. Some people will ask, or the objective or the pushback when I talk to them is, well, I don't eat in the morning because I'm not hungry. Okay, that can happen, but for us too, as Buddhist monks going into the monastery, we have to eat at 7:30 and we eat at 11 or 11:30 every single day. In the beginning, I'm not hungry. I don't have an appetite, but slowly you will start to adapt. In the beginning, you might not eat anything. You might not eat, or you might just eat a little bit. But then nighttime, you start to get hungry. The body will adjust. Your mindset will adjust. Like I said in the beginning, very challenging and very common. But keep this up, and slowly you'll start to adapt your lifestyle, and the body will catch up. So start here. But moving forward, there's two options. One is you can just freestyle your life, and every day I'm just gonna kind of guess what I'm doing. No plan. And depending on how busy I am, the projects I have, who I'm talking to, what comes up in the external world, I'll adapt. I'll sleep based off the outside world. I'll eat based off the outside world. I'll create a fitness schedule based off the outside world. Or another choice may be, well, let me just take control of this part. Let me try to create a structure that is container where it can give me some kind of foundation and stability and a peace of mind. At least these basic needs are met. At least I can have the foundation so strong and grounded. I don't have to worry of when I'm eating and when I'm sleeping and when I'm doing a lot of these things. Just put it into the schedule. And from that, then you can start to take more risk, bigger risk. And what will support you is this foundation. But I hope this is helpful. I just wanted to share it because a lot of people are asking us this question. They just feel a bit stressed. They feel overwhelmed because they're juggling so many different things. But if that is the case, then come back to creating a routine and disciplined schedule for yourself that actually works and is sustainable. But with that, just sending you all my blessings and good wishes. And again, I hope this is helpful. Satu, take care.
So that is the first video there from Inspirational Monk Nick there, and brought up some good topics. Let's get ready to set up the second video for him. It's a short one. The Bad Habits is a short one. Hold on. About stress and chaos, and the main focus of that is, you know, have something set, like something strict. He talked about sleeping. Example, you want to have your bedtime at 10 p.m. Try to go to bed at 10. It's going to be hard at the beginning, but once you get, through cycles, say like he put out not drinking coffee at like 8 p.m. or not staying out too late, then that sleep factor, that 10 p.m. is going to ease on in, and you get used to it being at 10 p.m. Eating, set schedule for eating. Although you don't eat for breakfast, set in time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, and when I thought about it, when he said that, stress and chaos, finances. Sometimes, finances, we have to be very strict. Bills, gas, probably you want to go out to eat. Any free money left that you want to save, Sometimes budgets can be strict. That's another example that I can take from stress and chaos. That way you can pay stuff on time, and you can save a little bit more money if you don't overspend and all of that. Like set a list and all of that. So kind of a straightforward on that, what Inspirational Nick said on the video there. So kind of set boundaries to limit your stress and your chaos, and everything will be okay. So our next video is short. He's going to talk about bad habits here. And then afterwards, we're going to do back-to-back quotes. And then that'll be the show for this evening. So we're going to play it again for Inspirational Nick here. So here we go. Oh, before we get through, Frank says 6-2 Tampa. I'm going to sleep. Frank, you're not going to sleep. Stay up and watch me.
Good evening, everyone from Southern California. Today I wanted to talk about the topic of what do you do when you're trying to improve yourself and you fall back on old habits. There you go. I messed up again. So what is the next step? Well, what is so common right now is when people mess up, they will beat themselves up. They'll be very hard on themselves. They put the pressure on. And again, I'm a failure. I did this thing again. Part of it can be good because there is a part of you that wants to reach your goal. But the other part of you, I would say, be very gentle. Be very kind to yourself. When we're trying to fix a habit, this is not easy. This is not easy because it's so ingrained in us. Some things can take a lifetime to fix. Some things are easier than others, but this is quite normal. So whatever your situation is, you're trying to fix this thing that you can't get quite over yet, that bad habit that it's not serving you, it's okay. It's okay. We're here. The beating ourselves up, the putting extra pressure and judging ourselves, it's not helpful, or it can even backfire. So just be gentle, compassionate, and kind with yourself. So that is the first step. The other step I would say is be careful, because sometimes we will fix an issue. For example, let's use an example so it's more clear. If you're struggling with impulsivity and anger, and you have a bad habit of immediately, if someone does something that annoys you, someone does something that does not go your way, you'll snap. You'll raise your voice, you'll get loud, and you will experience this anger or this rage. You'll take it out on your partner, let's say that. And now you're doing the work. You start to fix yourself. You learn new tools and coping skills, and with time and with work, you improve yourself right there. We fix this in your romantic relationship. And then what happens? People think, I'm good. This anger thing, I've been working so hard at it. It's all gone. It's all clear. And then what happens next? Then they go to their workplace after some time. A coworker says something and they snap. Immediately, oh no. The habit that I thought I worked so hard to get rid of, it just came back. Oh, that's so bad. But for me, okay, yes, that is a normal reaction. But I would say be careful, because you are still progressing. And sometimes we forget that we may have improved the anger in this dimension of our life, maybe in a romantic relationship, but we haven't experienced it or work on it in a different context. Maybe at work, you never had that until now. Maybe you never had a context where now I'm going to college for the first time. And with this kind of stress and this kind of pressure, oh, that's another kind of anger. Then maybe you're dealing with a parent who is dealing with illness and you have to take care of them and the burden is heavy. You never experience anger or irritation in this context. But what it reminds me of is Buddhism. And in Buddhism, when we are changing ourselves, and our habits, first we change a perspective. You learn wisdom, you learn a new way of living or a new tool or a new skill, and then go apply it and go clean yourself and go test it out. And then you keep cleaning, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And now that anger, let's say, you fix it in this romantic relationship. Then I said, now you go to the workplace, and right there, you snapped. And the anger is still a large issue. It's still a root issue, but now we get an opportunity to look at from a different angle. And in this experience, be kind with yourself, because no, you are still progressing. You did not fall backwards completely. I didn't make any progress. I didn't learn anything. No, that's not the case. You learn it in this context, but now we need to mature your perception even more. We got to raise you even more, and let's look at it from a different context. And now use your wisdom. How do I deal with coworkers? How do I use, what coping skills do I use in an occupation setting? In a boss subordinate setting. And you never been in that before. So again, this may trigger irritation. This may trigger some kind of anger in this dynamics. And let's imagine one day you become the boss. And now you have people under you that you need to take care of. And they annoy you and you snap. Now this is another context. But pay attention and use it as an opportunity to learn and to grow in that. Now I have more tools. I get to raise my maturity to look at anger in a different light. Now I get to look at anger from this context. Now you'll go and apply it to platonic relationships. You go apply it to your family. You go apply it to yourself. But everything that we're doing, I just wanted to share that do not jump to conclusion, but also to be kind with yourself. And it's a deepening of the spiral. If you fall back on the habit, what should you do? 1, step back. Step back. Be kind, and then take a look at it very neutrally. What just happened? Oh, this is a new context. And with this neutral observation and this neutral and mature lens, see what were the facts? What led up to this result? What led up to this emotion? What led up to this behavior? And now, okay, let me clean this. Let me clean this. And you might have to upgrade these skills. This skill in the work profession context may not be the same as the romantic relationship context. So now we got to start new. This is fresh. And this is the learning process. This is the maturity process. So then you can start to understand anger and how to deal with it at a deeper level. So if you are in that situation, I hope this perspective can help you. So if you fall back on old habits, just know, I am still making progress, but now I'm getting an opportunity to mature my perception and tools. So again, hope this is helpful. But as always, sending you my blessings and greetings all the way from California. Take care. Satu.
So that was a little bit of a short video, like I mentioned there on bad habits, and he kind of did describe it a little bit there at the end there. Whatever you have bad habits, take a look at the situation, and then try to assess it. Like, what do I need to better myself? from these bad habits. So, that's pretty much like it is. Same with the chaos, though. With the chaos and stress, it's more of trying to get a hold of the situation. What can I strengthen? Um, you know, what can I, make myself strict to make sure I don't have that stress or that chaos? So it's kind of the same thing like bad habits as well. Um, it's more of with bad habits, what do I need to do to improve it? So, and it can be like stress. You can strengthen it more to make sure, hey, those bad habits don't happen again. Um, so it kind of correlates a little bit in similarity, but inspirational Nick again with the wise words. So I do appreciate him with the wise words. And Cup of Jose is cool, right? So appreciate him. He has some good videos on YouTube. So check it out. And of course, all the stories that I put on for the show will be on my Discord after the show. So in case anyone misses it or wants to replay it again, it will be on my Discord near the end of the show, or I'll put it out tomorrow, depending on how I feel. But anyway, so next we're going to go do quotes. Again, this is a double dose of quotes. One short one here from Albert Einstein here, and then we're going to have a little bit of a lengthy one with, I think I did Henry David Thoreau is the last one. So we got quotes, and then we're going to close up the show for this evening, and we got the train rolling. Hey, so let's go ahead and get started with Albert Einstein quotes here. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it.
Remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Student is not a container you have to fill, but a torch you have to light up. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Try not to become a man of success. Rather, become a man of value. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. It is not that I'm so smart, but I stay with the questions much longer. Blind belief in authority is the greatest enemy of truth. We all know that light travels faster than sound. That's why certain people appear bright until you hear them speak. Genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. I'd rather be an optimist and a fool than a pessimist and right. You never fail until you stop trying. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. Wisdom is not a product of schooling, but of the lifelong attempt to acquire it. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. Only those who attempt the absurd can achieve the impossible. What a sad era when it is easier to smash an atom than a prejudice. Life is a preparation for the future, and the best preparation for the future is to live as if there were none. The only source of knowledge is experience. Possessions, outward success, publicity, luxury. To me, these have always been contemptible. I believe that a simple and unassuming manner of life is best for everyone, best for both the body and the mind. The only sure way to avoid making mistakes is to have no new ideas. 3 great forces rule the world: stupidity, fear, and greed. Past is dead. Future is uncertain. Present is all you have. So eat, drink, and live merry. Intelligence is not the ability to store information, but to know where to find it. Do not grow old, no matter how long you live. Never cease to stand like curious children before the great mystery into which we were born. Weak people revenge. Strong people forgive. Intelligent people ignore. It's strange to be known so universally, and yet be so lonely. Never memorize something that you can look up. Example isn't another way to teach. It is the only way to teach. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. One day you will regret that you did not hear these quotes earlier. Do not lose the opportunity. Watch our next video.
Okay, that was a very weird ending. One day you'll regret not listening to these quotes. All right. That was a very weird ending. But anyway, those were the Albert Einstein quotes, 35 of them to be exact. So I thought I'd start out with a little bit of the short version, and now we're going to get a little bit of a longer version, but it's not too long, with Mr. Henry David Thoreau here. 13 minutes long. So hopefully you enjoyed those quotes by Albert Einstein, and now we're about to close out with Henry David Thoreau. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Usually I just let the quotes go through. I'm not going to comment. We just let them speak what they have to speak on the quotes there. Dorico has arrived. And I want to read his quote from his mother. My favorite quote is, when we go up in the store, don't touch nothing, don't look at nothing, and don't ask for nothing. I have been taught that plenty of times in my childhood. She is a wise woman. He also says, I do wish the legends of modern science and philosophy were still around. They lead us to greatness, in the future lead us astray. I amen to that. I wish they were too. So it's tough to see the future, how it is. So, but yeah, if they were still around, hopefully we can find some cures and help out with stuff in our world. So, but it's on to the newer age, so we'll see how that goes. All right. Sharon says, "My mom, right? She's a wise woman. Draco's mom's a wise woman. I know her. So that was a good quote from her." All right. So let's go ahead and end it out with Henry David Thoreau here, and then we're going to go ahead and close out the show as well. Appreciate you guys being here. So let's go ahead and end out with Henry David Thoreau quotes, and hopefully this will not be a whole bunch of big words on the screen. So we'll see. But let's go.
Lives of quiet desperation, and go to the grave with the song still in them. Not until we are lost do we begin to understand ourselves. Water is the only drink of a wise man. He drinks no wine because he understands where it can take him. For our suspicions, we pay by finding what we suspected. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. As a single footstep will not make a path on the earth, so a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind. Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. Every man is the builder of the temple by which his body is called. Cultivate the habit of getting up early. It is unreasonable to keep your head on the same level with your feet for a long time. This man is the richest, whose pleasures are the cheapest. You should rather sit on a pumpkin and have it all to yourself than be crowded on a velvet cushion. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. It's not about what you look at, it's about what you see. What you get from an experience will be equivalent to what effort you put into it. Happiness is capricious and unpredictable, like a butterfly. When you try to catch it, it eludes you. But if you distract yourself, it will fall right into your palms. The universe is wider than our views of it. If you want to convince a person that he lives badly, live well. The best thing you can do for a friend is just be his friend. Kindness is the only garment that never wears out. Things do not grow better. They remain as they are. It is we who grow better by the changes we make in ourselves. Love should be light rather than flame. Live your beliefs, and you can turn the world around. You can change your life by changing your attitude. One who has nothing to do with thorns should never try to pick flowers. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life. The past cannot become the present. We cannot know what we do not know, but the past, present, and future are hidden under one veil. Do not be too moral. You may cheat yourself out of much life. Aim above morality. Be not simply good, be good for something. Books should be read as leisurely and carefully as they were written. Our truest life is when we are in dreams awake. Dress the scarecrow in a dress of the latest style, and stand by yourself in simple clothes, and see who will bow first, the scarecrow or you. Just as the most truthful society always approaches solitude, so the most magnificent speech eventually falls into silence. Silence is heard by everyone, always and everywhere. It is only when we forget all our learning that we begin to know. The world is but a canvas to our imagination. In the long run, we only hit what we aim at. The language of friendship is not words but meanings. You must live in the present, launch yourself on every wave, find your eternity in each moment. The perception of beauty is a moral test. In relationships, tragedy begins not when there is a misunderstanding of words, but when silence is incomprehensible. Any fool can make a rule, and every fool will keep it. Our life is frittered away by detail. Simplify. Simplify. Find where your roots are, and don't fuss about other worlds. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away. The law will never make people free. It is the people who must make the law free. Each generation ridicules the old fashions and reverently follows the new. Men have become the tools of their tools. Nothing smells as bad as tainted righteousness. Dreams are characteristics of our personality. There is no value in life except what you choose to place upon it, and no happiness in any place except what you bring to it yourself. There is no remedy for love but to love more. Paradise can be defined as a place that people avoid. The unconsciousness of man is the consciousness of God. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours. A compliment often hides a belief in one's own superiority. Wild love is to be feared just as hatred. When love is strong, it is always clear and calm. What lies before us and what lies behind us are small matters compared to what lies within us. And when you bring what is within out into the world, miracles happen. The only way to tell the truth is to speak with kindness. Only the words of a loving man can be heard. None are so old as those who have outlived enthusiasm. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. It is not worth the while to let our imperfections disturb us always. Judge your health by how you enjoy the morning and spring. As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler. Solitude will not be solitude. Poverty will not be poverty, nor weakness. Weakness. What is called genius is the abundance of life and health. Nature will bear the closest inspection. She invites us to lay our eye level with her smallest leaf and take an insect view of its plane. The greatest compliment that can be ever paid to anyone is when someone asks you about what you think and attend to your answer. Stereotypical but unconscious despair is hidden even in what humanity calls games and amusements. There is no real pleasure in them. If they defiantly do not notice you, it means that they are seriously interested in you. Live each season as it passes. Breathe the air, drink the drink, taste the fruit, and resign yourself to the influences of each. The most tender plants make their way through the hardest earth, through the cracks of the rocks. So is kindness. It is not desirable to cultivate a respect for the law so much as for the right. It is never too late to give up your prejudices. If someone is always in your mind, it means that your heart has already chosen them. Humanity, in the course of its evolution, will stop eating animals in the same way that once wild tribes stopped eating each other when they came into contact with more developed ones. A man is rich in proportion to the number of things he can afford to let alone. Illness always chooses the person who chose stress. We must learn to reawaken and keep ourselves awake, not by mechanical aids, but by an infinite expectation of the dawn.
All right, so those are your quotes by Mr. Henry David Thoreau. What a good segment of quotes there by him. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Hey Nancy, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. I did your video. It was very, very nice. I can't find my earbuds, so I'm reading. Oh, okay. But that was the last segment for this evening with the quotes there. So with Henry David Thoreau there. So hopefully you got a glimpse and enjoyed those quotes because that's very, very good of Thoreau and Albert Einstein. But I mentioned earlier in the stream, thank you so much for the video you sent with the tortoise. So I can't hear a little husband has TV on top. Oh, okay. All right. So I'll type it down in the comments real quick for you there. Hold on. Say, oh, okay, you heard it. Okay. I thought the tortoise. Yeah, it was a good story. It was a good story. So I decided to start the show out with a tortoise that gave birth to triplets. He was 90 years old. Got triplets. I think him and his partner been around for a long time, and they had triplets. And I thought maybe I'll coincide that with the tortoise and Claire. I think that was her name. And that tortoise been around her life. Well, actually been around her for her whole life. So um, that was kind of a nice story there up there. So I'm glad I played it, and I thank you again for it. So really appreciate the video and the story, and of course the story and all the other stories that were presented tonight will be on my Discord. So make sure to check it out if you missed anything. And also this also wraps up the show for this evening. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Before that, let's go ahead and close the show out. Like I said again, I have the Discord. I'll go ahead and type that out. If you have not joined, please join. We got stories from the shows, past and present. I also got a little daily quote section as well. Sometimes I be behind on it, but I definitely will try to post it. So today's quote was from Diane Sawyer. I think the one lesson I have learned is that there is no substitute for paying attention. So I got a nice calendar here with a whole bunch of quotes there, and I try to post it on there as well, and also chats and all of that. So that's all in the Discord. If you want to check it out, no problem, Sharon. Thank you for being here. So much. Thank you for being here. The Mental Health Hour. Tim and Gemma, good shows. I got to change the title of that, but I don't know what they're going to be doing tomorrow night, but check them out tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. The Mental Health Hour, such a great show. Talk about mental health issues and try to break it down with slides and their own personal experience of the topic at hand. So make sure to check them out. The Mental Health Hour tomorrow night at 6 p.m. They did live Q&A 5 part 2 last week, and again, very incredible that they got 30 questions in from viewers. That's a very high note for them. So I'm still amazed at that as well. So kudos to them. And also Jim in Chicagoland. He does Catalyst tomorrow nights at 10 p.m. around 10 p.m. Eastern. He could be on at 11. Just note 10 p.m. could be a start time. Be around a candle, or I think he did the candle, but he was outside, so he's still doing the candle. Talk about your day, talk about your topics, and all of that. So make sure to join him tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, and he also does trivia on Saturday nights. That is also at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And also, Malwell is in here. He streams Thursday through Saturdays. He does gaming. I think he's off this week, but I think beginning in May, he's going to do some Mario in May. So he's calling it May Rio. So I'll give Malwell a shout out. Check him out. Great dude. Great gamer. And yeah, a very good friend of mine as well. So I'll give him a shout out as well. So yeah. So pretty much I think that will do it for this evening. So Sharon, thank you so much for being here. Nancy, thank you so much for being in here. I know it's brief. And give Nancy some prayers as well. Again, she's had surgery, and want to give her some prayers. Hopefully, I think you are home. I think you are home. So hopefully you get some sleep, enough rest, and a speedy recovery and healing. Cup of Joe, thank you so much for being in here and being kind of a little bit of a mod as well with the Discord plugs. Appreciate it. Dorico, my brother, thank you for being here. Frank for giving the hockey updates. He's kind of pissed that the Leafs are losing, but I thought he would be happy. But Apparently, the Lightning are just taking over. And he never gave me any updates about the Rangers and the Devils, and I have to worry about the Canes right now in their game tomorrow night, and hopefully we'll go up 2-0. But thank you, Frank. Your pal Duke, thank you for the bits. And thank you for being here as well. And the Birches, Kat and Jamie Birch, for being in here. And thank you for the follow, Jamie. 3 followers away from 200, guys. I can't believe I'm near 200 followers. So it's thanks to you guys for being in here and supporting. And I think I got everybody. So thanks, Raymond. Yes, I'm home. All right, awesome. So with that, let's rate somebody. How about that? We'll rate somebody. Who is gotta go? Have a good night, Raymond. No problem, Nancy. Thank you so much again for your story, and thank you for tuning in, being in here. Let's go down the list here. We are gonna rate someone new. Let's rate someone new. I met her on Jenny Bell's broadcast. Jenny Bell Music, follow her too. She's very incredible, but I think she's been a little bit under the weather lately. But make sure to check her out as well. We're gonna rate someone new. How about that? We're gonna see how she is. We're gonna listen to some music. Ella, hey Ella, how you doing? I'm about to raid someone. Guys, make sure to follow Ella. Follow Ella if you don't know her. I think some of y'all do know her, and support her. MyBunnyValentine.com. Help the bunny rescues. Most of the proceeds will go to bunny rescues as well. So, and it was so good to be in her broadcast. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. You had your birthday celebration. So good to being in here, and thank you for the 300 bits. I do appreciate you so much. Great supporter of the show. So really do appreciate you, Ella. Fortunately, I'm just closing out the show this evening, so thank you so much for joining me. Yes, it was a great birthday bash she had early in the morning. It's kind of rare that I'd be up at like 6 or 7 in the morning, and I'm like, okay. Oh, Ella's on, so it was her birthday as well, so I had to come in and support her. So I'll catch you next time. Yeah, but stay Ella, because we're gonna raid someone new, and she's gonna do. I think she does music. So I thought we will rate someone new. I think her name is Jazz. This is Jazz Simply Me. So you went for 12 hours. Nice. So yes. So I know you had a great birthday. You had a big turnout as well. So hopefully what you did birthday evening was even better. So appreciate you, Ella, so much for being here. All right, we're gonna rate Jazz Simply Me, someone new. So let's all show some love and support for her. And again, I will be back next week. If not, I will let you guys know. But I'm planning on being back next Tuesday night with some more stories and some more videos. So stay tuned for that as well. And I'll be in y'all's streams as well during the week. So you know how I do. All right. I had seriously streaming hangover. Woohoo. Yes. So till then, be positive, stay safe, be kind to one another. I'll see you guys next week or somewhere around your channels. And yeah, let's go say hello to Jazz Simply Me. All right, guys. I think the ticker is about to end. So take care, everybody, and have a great rest of your week. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.